What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Marble Fox Brewing Company, and they are out of Nashville, Tennessee, and this is their Midnight Charmer. So this is a Czech Dark Lager that comes in at 5.1% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, and this can is just under 6 months old. I want to give a huge thanks and a shout out to a fellow BeerTuber, Jonah, over at 62 Beer Reviews for this beer, so huge thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link not only to Jonah's channel, but the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way, and he sent me 6 different beers, all from Tennessee breweries, because he resides in Nashville, Tennessee, so he wanted to send me some local goodness, and I have never had a beer from Marble Fox, and in fact, first time I heard about them was from a review that Jonah did. Recently, he reviewed their, forget the name of it, but it was a peanut butter and jelly ale, not a sour, and he was really digging on it. It looked delicious. He did review this one within the past couple weeks, but I did not watch it. I will watch it after I review this because I want to see what he says about it, but also I didn't want to watch it beforehand because I didn't want to be influenced by any kind of tasting note. So they have a spiel on the side that I'll read hopefully at the end of the review. If not, most likely will be in the description box. So yeah, I love me some Czech-style Dark Lagers. This sounds pretty good. Now this is, just under 6 months old, so it's a bit older. However, I think we should be okay with a style like this. It shouldn't be any kind of like huge issue or anything. So let's hope that it's held up quite well. Try to get a decent head here if I can. Yeah. Do a little bit more like that. Throw this over here and get into the review. So is that a Czech Dark Lager? Yes, it is. So with these Czech Dark Lagers and even like German Schwarzbiers, they kind of look like stouts to some degree, but they always a little bit lighter. Hold it up to the light, it has like this Coca-Cola root beer, Dr. Pepper kind of vibe because it has like a lighter brown tinge at the bottom. It's nice and opaque up here, like basically a dark brown into a black. It's gonna look pitch black on my camera, but for sure, this has more of like a root beer kind of look to it. 3 fingers of a crazy, I would say lightly brown colored head, because I poured it quite aggressively to get a head, which it succeeded. It was successful at the same time. Hopefully that kind of dies down so I can get my nose in there. But yeah, it has a nice creaminess to it. There's some slightly bigger bubbles that gives it a touch of like a soap sudsy looking vibe. For the most part though, it looks really creamy. That looks beautiful. And that's kind of what I expect out of this style, if we're being honest. Let's get a nose. Ooh, wow. Wow, that has this, I don't want to say big because that would mean stylistically not correct, but it has this nice, impactful, spicy grassiness from the hops on top of this beautiful, like roasty, toasty dark bread. It's like someone had like a pumpernickel bread. Yeah, a pumpernickel bread, like with like a little bit of like a roasted or toasty kind of like cocoa powder sprinkled above it, maybe even a touch of coffee. So, touch of dark fruit as well. Like maybe a dark berry into like a dark cherry. Maybe a bit of caramel toffee molasses. This is very complex for 5.1% Czech-style Dark Lager. And look at that. It's forming like a mushroom cap head. You can't really probably see it, but there's just like, it just looks like someone plopped a like a scoop of vanilla ice cream in the middle of this beer. It's kind of wild. Yeah, it smells really good. It smells clean. It just smells like it's going to be a very drinkable, lower ABV dark lager, and that's exactly what this is. I've always said this on my channel whenever I review these or Schwarzbiers or some kind of darker lager. My preference is darker lagers when it comes to low ABV crushers. It's almost like drinking a sessionable stout to some degree, and I love stouts, so it kind of works for me. So let's get into this one. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Jonah. Wow, that mouthfeel. Something I did not expect out of it. I love it. I love the mouthfeel. Mouthfeel is, this is one of those beers where I'll say I'll drink it for the body mouthfeel alone. Certainly the mouthfeel. Body. I'd say higher side of light, lower side of medium. I'd say more lower side of medium, approaching medium. It's nice. Maybe a touch thin for me at 5.1%. But not, I mean, lower side of medium, 5.1%, it's all right. I mean, it's not the best body I've ever had in a beer like this, but it's fine. It'll get the job done. The mouthfeel, however, is spectacular. Has a mild to moderate carbonation. It has a crispness to it. It's crisp on the palate. However, at the same time, this is incredibly smooth and creamy with a nice softness. Like it is, I don't want to say nitroed, but it definitely has just a smooth, like a velvety smooth creaminess. The nose really carried over to the taste for the most part. Again, I would say some kind of darker bread. You could say whatever. I always default to pumpernickel, but it has like a pumpernickel kind of vibe to it, like a toasted pumpernickel bread, even into almost like a roasty. I don't want to say burnt because that sounds negative, but kind of like you over toasted the pumpernickel bread, but you didn't get quite to the point where it's burnt. So that's kind of where it lands for me. Right after that drying cocoa powder, there's a little bit of like a light roasted coffee. Midway through the palate, that fruitiness hits, and I would say it's more of like a fruit spread of like berries and cherries and maybe like another nondescript dark fruit. It's not that sweet, but it's just that kind of characteristic where it's a bunch of different like berries and cherries. It's really nice. Underlying caramel, toffee, molasses as well. The finish is where this one really balances out. It has that, I would say, a spicy grassiness is what I'm going to lock in. And there's a little bit more hop character than I anticipated. This is mild to moderately bitter from the hops. I'd say it's like more approaching moderately bitter. And it's nice and semi to full on dry, not quite like a bone dry finish, but between the dryness and the bitterness, it really balances this one out because there is a lot of great, sweeter, rich depth malt complexity that needs to be balanced out by something on the finish. And for me, it really does. And I'm left with on the finishes that like toasted pumpernickel, kind of with a little bit of like that spicy grassiness. The glass lacing is fucking phenomenal. This is just under, like I said, 6 months old, and this is drinking extremely well. I can only imagine how good this one would be, 6 weeks old or 6 days old. But for the most part, this is really fucking nice. First beer from Marble Fox, and I will say that this is pretty much a winner. Not my favorite Czech dark lager. I think my favorite like dark lager, and I think it was a Czech one, but it was Suarez. They did their, was it River Black Lager, I think it was called, or something like that. That's been my favorite of these darker lagers by far. And I don't know if beer will be able to touch that one in the near future. But this is really well done, kind of in the same realm of ones that I've had in the past from some of the more hyped like lager breweries that I've tried. So kudos to Marble Fox. This is the first beer I'm having from them, and this is a great Czech dark lager. It really is. And I'm going to drink the rest of it and enjoy every second. So Midnight Charmer from Marble Fox. Give this a really nice rating. I'm going to give this a high 4.25. I'm going to go high 4.25. I'm going to go 4.3. I think that is pretty fair. Based on what I'm tasting in my glass, this is a really just well-executed Czech dark lager from an American brewery. Like, they've done a phenomenal job with this. And again, the age is what I'd probably give this was fresh, I'd probably give it like a lower 4.25, but the fact that it's almost 6 months old and it's still drinking just extremely well, I got to knock it up a little bit. So I went from like a 4.2 to like a 4.3 in my mind. So yeah, thank you very, very much, Jonah. This was cool to try. They do have a spiel, like I said. Our Czech dark lager captivates with a blend of pilsner and munich malts, shrouded in a deep darkness. Full body, definitely not, and sessionable, definitely so. Roasted malts add depth to its balanced charm, for sure. Embrace the midnight allure with every sip, where richness effortlessly intertwines in the shadows. I'm going to need you to rein that in a little bit, Marble Fox. But outside of the full body, which it definitely... I always struggle when a brewery says full body and it's like a 5% lager like this. I'm always curious, and anybody can post in the comment section. What do you think they mean by full body for 5%? If so, I can see that, because for me, a full body beer at 5% is like a medium body, right? Like, it's a medium body, has a halfness, but it's not overly done, and it's 5%. Like it doesn't drink like a 10 or 12% crazy imperial stout. So from that aspect, sure. But when I think full-bodied, I think of the aforementioned 10-12% imperial stouts here, like a huge triple IPA or something. So yeah, probably what they mean is full-bodied for the style and for the ABV. So if so, they're not far off. I still think it's a little bit under medium-bodied for me, as if you encompass all beers. Anyway. Price point availability. This is where I have no idea. So Jonah, if you want to chime in the comment section, or anybody else in Tennessee, I would hope that this is no more than $16 a 4-pack, and my preference would be in the $12 to $14 range. I think that's a sweet spot for me to say, hey man, I'd love to try this. If like I got Marble Fox here, let's say they were a local brewery, and I saw that for $12.99 a 4-pack, yes, no questions asked. If I saw that for $15.99 a 4-pack, I'll grab a single at the most. Although I don't really buy 4-packs, but you know what I'm saying. Like I feel like that $12 to $14 range is way more, it's receptive by a lot of different people, because it just, in my mind, $12 to $14 fine. Once you start hitting 15, 16, you're like, ooh, I'm talking about like almost $4 a can. So we'll see what anybody says, Jonah, whoever, but I think $12 to $14 is where I'd like this. And availability, it's Marble Fox. I have no idea. Outside of them obviously being in Nashville, Tennessee, I don't know if they make it out of the state. I don't know if they make it out of the city. But yeah, this is the first beer I'm having from them, and it's just a really well done beer. 5.1%, you can't tell. Thank you very much, Jonah. First beer from your box is definitely a winner, 4.3 out of 5, and one of the better Czech-style Dark Lagers I've had from American Brewery. I haven't reviewed or drank a ton, but this is definitely upper echelon from the ones I've had. Has a lot of the same characteristics, extremely clean on the palate, beautiful balance. Like even as we're speaking now, there's a little bit of like a hop bitterness, and when you first drink it, you're thinking maybe it's too sweet. It's definitely not. So great beer. So huge thanks to Jonah for this one. Be on the lookout for the other 5 reviews over the course of probably the next couple of weeks to month. Jonah and I are going to try to link up and review 1 or 2 of the beers he sent my way. Do a duo review, pre-recorded most likely instead of live. I don't know. We might do a live. We'll see, but outside of that, the other ones will be reviewed. And once again, go check out Jonah's channel. I said it during the unboxing, but it's criminal that he has only double-digit subscribers. He's been doing this just over a year. He loves it, and I just think he has some great reviews, and I would love if more people went over to his channel and gave him a sub. Great reviews, and he does a lot of, like, again, Tennessee and Nashville-centric beers, which you don't see from a lot of different beer tubers. So go check him out. Highly recommend his channel. So anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. Appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers.